NBA trade deadline just expired. Welcome back to the desk. The NBA trade deadline just expired yesterday, and Steven, Tristin, Richard, and Filip are here to give their takes. Now, fellas, the biggest trade at the deadline by far was the Clippers moving Tobias Harris from Los Angeles to Philadelphia. Steven, break down the trade for us.
Well, as you can see in the graphic that we have from Adrian Wojnarowski, him and Shams going back and forth at it, trying to get the tweets out fast. You got, the 76ers trading for him with Boban, Mike Scott, for Landry Shamet, who they were really high on the Clippers, Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, and then 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. So Tobias Harris, really big piece to get that 4th star, basically. I would say borderline all-star Tobias Harris to the 76ers. They're trying to re-sign him and Jimmy Butler. I think it's just a win-now move. The only way I feel like the Sixers win this trade is if they re-sign Harris. But right now, I think it's perfect to put them up with the Bucks and the Raptors and even the Celtics to try and get out of the East.
Yeah, you mentioned that you think it's a win-now move, and it seems to be that way. But the way the Philadelphia 76ers are built around, I don't think this is a win-now move for them. I mean, Embiid and Simmons, their 2 core pieces, are still so young. They don't have to win this season. It's not all or nothing this season. I feel like they gave up way too much, especially that Miami pick, the unprotected 2021 pick. That looking at Miami now, it's probably gonna be a very, very valuable pick down the line.
I think they're really confident that Harris is going to re-sign. Harris is only like 26, so he's still pretty young. He still fits that timeline for them. So if they can throw him like 20 mil a year, throw Jimmy Butler like a 25, I think they'll be able to sign both those players back and still have a really good starting lineup.
All this, and with confidence, I can say I still think the Sixers are the 4th best team in the East.
I think this was a great move for the Sixers. I mean, they got some picks also in a different trade with Jonathan Simmons. And I think really what really happened here was now you could space the floor with Tobias Harris. I mean, they got another rim protector in Boban. I think Embiid now can chill on the block.
Boban's going to be played off the court come playoff time. He can't play. He can't switch off defenders. He can't because it's a switchable defense. Tobias Harris, my issue with him on the fit is it's 4 high-usage guys now. Him, Butler, Embiid, and Simmons all like to shoot. They all like to have the ball in their hands. I'm going to like to see how it works out on the court.
Well, I think, like I said, with getting Tobias Harris, now if you're going to leave a one-on-one on the low block with Embiid,
it's going to help the spacing
It's going to spread it out, and you can kick out now to Tobias or J.J. Redick, and you could have Simmons help out on the glass. I mean, they're both double-double guys. So.
Now, that wasn't the only big trade to happen at the deadline. Plenty of trades around the league that really shook up the core of a lot of playoff contending teams. Filip, go to you first. What was your big key trade for the deadline?
I always talk about the Raptors, so I got to throw it in there. Marc Gasol being traded to the Toronto Raptors for Jonas Valanciunas, C.J. Miles, Delon Wright, and a 2024 second-rounder. This is a pick. And if we're talking about win-now teams in the East, this is a win-now pick for the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard might be out this summer. They get a potential free agent next year to Marc Gasol. He has a player option next year, a very big one. Getting him now might be the best move for the Raptors. It might push them to be the best team in the East. I mean, in the last 5 years, Marc Gasol has led the league in elbow touches. The Toronto Raptors have been 28th in the league in elbow touch assists, so he's a perfect fit for him. He might be coming off the bench too, but I think this is a picture-perfect fit for the Raptors, and it could take them to the finals.
Richard?
Yeah, I mean, the Mavericks, they've made some great moves recently. In the trade deadline, I mean, just recently they shipped off Harrison Barnes for more cap space. I mean, I think the Kings won out in this move. The Kings got Harrison Barnes. They sent over Justin Jackson and Big Zebo, who, I mean, the Mavs waived. But, I mean, for the Kings, it's a good move. A former NBA champion, a vet, 3-and-D guy. I like with the Kings starting lineup.
And I want to make note, too, this is a very important trade for the Mavericks. You talked about the cap space. They open up money this offseason to sign a max free agent. That is a huge deal. Barnes was owed in the range of $20 million in his player option that he's probably going to take up. So that's a huge move for the Mavericks.
Kings playoff push.
The Clippers traded Avery Bradley to Memphis. It really just frees up some space for the Clippers to try to make a push for a big-name free agent in the league. it fits the play style. So in all reality, it's an okay trade.
And I just want to touch up on that too. In the short term, it helps the Clippers out just because if they're trying to make that playoff push still. Garrett Temple is an immediate upgrade over Avery Bradley alone, and JaMychal Green added on to that. Since they lost Boban, since they lost Gortat, it's a good rotational big. The Clippers are just winning this offseason completely. They've had 3 trades.
It's not the offseason, but they are.
The trade deadline, sorry. And they're going to be winning in the offseason too. They have so much money for the offseason leading up to that. They just, with their 3 trades in the trade deadline, all 3 of them have been huge wins for them.
Yeah, I think one trade that we really have to look at is the Milwaukee Bucks. Seeing the 76ers made their move, so they had to make a move of their own, getting Nikola Mirotic for basically Thon Maker, if we really think about it, because they got Stanley Johnson and Jason Smith for Thon Maker, basically, and then shipped those 2 guys off for Nikola Mirotic. So I think it really emphasizes they want to space the floor for Giannis so he can drive and kick out. Just another shooter for him to give him to. And then we also got Markelle Fultz. Richard actually touched up on it. For Jonathan Simmons, a first and a second round pick, Markelle Fultz, I didn't personally think he had any trade value, to be honest.
Yes.
And they got a really good return for it. They got Jonathan Simmons, who's a good rotation player, good 2-way player, and then you got a first rounder and a second rounder. I think that's a win-win.
I don't know the fit of Jonathan Simmons on the Sixers. I mean, he's been shooting pretty poorly. His defense is subpar, I think.
But you got to think about it. Brett Brown is a Greg Popovich system guy. Jonathan Simmons played his best basketball with the Spurs, with Greg Popovich. So I think if anyone can really elevate him other than Greg Popovich, it's going to be Brett Brown.
Now, at this point in the season, the only way for teams to really make some moves is through the buyout market. Tristin, we'll go to you first. What available names stick out to you that playoff teams might chase?
The one that stands out to me the most right now is the former Nick Ennis-Kanter. The Knicks just recently bought him out. It kind of just looks like the Knicks are going to finish tanking the rest of the season, even though they weren't really doing well to begin with. But Ennis-Kanter can even maybe try to make his way back to OKC. I think the combination of him and Steven Adams could help them a lot.
I think we need to pump the brakes on Ennis-Kanter. I mean, Draymond Green said it best. There's some players who are 82-game players. There's some games who are 16-game players. Ennis-Kanter is much more clearly an 82-game player. We've been shown time and time again, come playoff time, he's played off the court because his defense is so awful. Other buyout market guys I want to mention, though, Wesley Matthews already tied with the Pacers. It's likely that's going to happen. Reports today by Woj saying that Wayne Ellington is already in talks with the Detroit Pistons, and Robin Lopez, he's been linked with the Golden State Warriors all year. That might be a good backup center for them.
Richard, you got the last word. Who's standing out to you?
I mean, I kind of like the Robin Lopez move to the Warriors. I mean, it adds another big man
a lot
for
of centers,
them.
though, now.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get out of Jordan Bell or Looney, so I like that move a lot.
Well, bless Woj for all his reporting yesterday. His fingers are probably tired.
Shams.
That's it for basketball, but we'll be right back in the same arenas talking hockey. Don't go anywhere.